Yo, this is Deontay the Bronx Bummer Wild, the WBC heavyweight champion of the world. And I'd like to give a big shout out to CJ Goodfellow, Sports TV. Bomb Squad, baby.
Let's do this video, man. Let's talk about which PBC fighters throughout history wasn't a hype job. Because it seemed like the vast majority of them was hype job. And pardon me, I got to get ready to go in here and clock in. But how many of them dudes really wasn't hype jobs? You know, think about that for a minute. When you go through the laundry list, and no, Floyd wasn't no PBC fighter. You know what I'm saying? So if we take Floyd out the equation, which he should be out the equation, he wasn't no PBC fighter. So thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and the subscribe button is the bell icon button. How many of them dudes was a PBC fighter? I mean, was PBC fighters like really lived up to the bill? You know what I'm saying? And you got to ask yourself, the second part of the video is, was it their fault, or did PBC just, you know, mismanage them wrong? Or not market them or promote them the right way, or prepare them the right way to be successful? You know? This is a great question, as it seems that it's winding down. How many of them dudes really, how many of them dudes really was that guy? Think about all the guys that in PBC history, came through. Who really was the real deal? Think about, we got a nice sample size. PBC came around, I don't know, 2012-ish. So we got over a 12-year sample size. Going on 13-year sample size. I wouldn't even call that a good size. So how many of these dudes really panned out to be him? Answer yourself that. How many of these dudes really panned out to be him? Hate when my lips crack. So think about it. Jared Hurd didn't really expand his potential. Errol Spence, his career came to a halt. Deontay Wilder, I mean, he might have had the most success as far as where he come from out of all fighters there. I think Michael Hunter might have been down with them for a while. I could be wrong about that. But the Charlos, what did they really accomplish? Only one Charlo won multiple belts in 2 weight classes. That was Jamal Charlo. The other one did become undisputed. But did they really become, really do anything well? And a lot of that had to do with they were just fucking unlikable. And another part of it, PBC just really didn't really, market them the right way. In other situations, what else we had in the mix? Robert Jr., he was a good fighter, kind of got in some trouble. Well, got career may be over, I guess, after getting popped. I think he got popped in the leg at his bar. I guess he was opening or closing it, and they hit a lick. This is why dudes tell you, don't get the hell out your hometown. You be trying to get back and love being at the crib, because, it's like being, a dope boy in the hood. They love you. But the love don't be real. Adrian Broner was a guy, I knew early on he wasn't that good. When I first seen him come on the scene versus Daniel Ponce de Leon, that dude beat AB that night. And then I knew he wasn't good when he fought Gavin Reese. People who watched those fights remember those fights. So you kind of had a feeling that AB was, his footwork wasn't there. Who else we got in the mix? Shawn Porter was solid, but, he might be one of the tier. We had the tier. Maybe I'll do a live stream. We tier some of these PBC fighters. He might be one tier just basically off of where he come from. Basically off of everything he did. He fought everybody. So you talking about Wilder, Porter might be they tier 1 fighters. And then, Canelo. I don't really consider Canelo, Pacquiao PBC fighters. Keith Thurman had the world of potential, when he had that fight In My Belly, but really he was a fucking failure. As far as what he could have been, he ain't no Hall of Famer. David Benavidez is still on the uptick. David Morrell still on the uptick. Javante still on the uptick. Gary Russell was probably the biggest disappointment over there. That nigga just didn't want to fight. He's an NBA player. He just didn't want to fight. He didn't want to be active. Leo Santa Cruz, this nigga was a scary ass dude. The reason he really got pressured from Gary Russell because Al Heyman lost a lawsuit, and Oscar De La Hoya got some of his fighters back, and Oscar was about to make Leo and Rigondeaux, and Leo Santa Cruz, called Al Heyman, and Al Heyman bought his contract out from De La Hoya, so he didn't want to fight Rigondeaux. He wasn't complaining about being on Golden Boy until they tried to make the Rigondeaux fight. Remember that? That's why a lot of people was riding with Gary Russell, when it came to Leo Santa Cruz. Erislandy Lara was probably another tier 1 PBC fighter, to be honest. He really was about it. He really wasn't slipping on his pimping too much. He did rob the fuck out of Carlos Molina. He was known for doing the same thing that John Jackson did, John Jackson did, Julian Jackson's son did, but I'm not gonna get into that. But it all worked out. He robbed Carlos Molina at 54, and Paul Williams robbed him. So it balanced out. Caleb Plant, he was solid. He like tier 2 or tier 2 for PBC, maybe tier 3-ish. So you start kind of thinking like nobody really like did anything. They won titles, and when they did, they clashed with other promotional companies. They usually got their ass beat. Was it the fighters? Danny Jacobs was pretty solid. Berto was known for, getting his ass whooped in just fights in general. But I like Berto a lot. But really, think about it. Who really like they say, oh man, this is the face of if the PBC era ended after 15 years. So they at around 12 right now. So let's say they got 3 more years running. You know what I'm saying? So 2028, whatever. Who, let's just say it ended now for the sake of simplicity. Who would be the face? Who would you say is the most successful PBC fighter? And we're talking about belts, pay-per-views, big wins. You know what I'm saying? Who would you say is really the face? Who would we really say is the face of this shit? I started this gangster shit. Hello. You tell me this the thanks I get? Hello. Who would you really say was the face? Real spill. Who would you say is the number one guy? Not just talking about popularity, but validity. Who is valid? Who brings some type of substance to the table? It's a great question. And I could be forgetting somebody because I don't have a laundry list of they guys here. Rigondeaux was PBC at one point. Nonito Donaire, I don't really consider him PBC. He pretty much came grandfathered in off a top rank like Pacquiao. Canelo came from Golden Boy. A lot of these dudes technically came from Golden Boy if we want to be technical. Victor Ortiz, Marcos Maidana. Did Maidana really make the PBC era though? We just throw that niche in there. Jesse Vargas was down for a little bit. And you start thinking about it, man, and for real, I would probably have to go with, and I'm not including Tank because this story is unwritten right now, or Morale and Benavidez. They still writing their stories. That's why originally I said 15 years. But and if we talking about success and accolades and all that big wins, them niggas not even in the conversation right now neither. That's tight one. That's Danny Garcia. Based on their scale, he might be a tier 1 fighter. But he just known for just losing shit at the end. He kind of Roy Jones his career, winning activity and losses. I like this Batman emblem he got on the back of his car. That shit fire. With the Michael Myers emblem. It's dope. So once you start adding it up, I think your list is either Wilder, Shawn Porter, Danny Garcia, maybe Jermell Charlo. That might be the 4 you picking from. Had Earl got undisputed, which he could have got undisputed and just did that shit before Terrence Crawford got there, Earl would probably be that guy. I know you got Fondora, Tony Harrison, Erickson Lubin. They had Castanos for a minute. Sebastian Fondora, technically background Mazaliev has been on a few PBC cards. Now they got Carlos Adames, who's built by Top Rank. So either it's Lara, Deontay Wilder, Shawn Porter, Jermell Charlo, Danny Garcia. I think it's one of them. The way Earl got his ass whooped, he got to be tier 2. It got to be one of those two, in my humble opinion. One of those. I would probably just say Lara didn't have the popularity, but I'm probably going to just say Lara for the sake of sake. So he got some good wins in there. Let me know what you girls and guys think. Check out the box news. Playlist. Hit the link tree. Find me everywhere. Join the Patreon. Peace.